Longhorns are cooking with hot grease today. Trevor Goosby, offensive tackle, has announced that he is returning for the 2026 football season. This is not a surprise if you've listened to us here at On Texas Football over the last couple of months since that became a thought process, but it is one that we can now finalize. Trevor Goosby, first team All-SEC left tackle, has committed to return to the University of Texas for the 2026 season, foregoing the NFL draft. This happens on a Sunday that also sees the Longhorns snare two guys out of the portal that were at the top of the boards for many. Wide receiver Cam Coleman out of Auburn has pledged to the Longhorns today, as well as Hollywood Smothers, a running back out of NC State. All three of these guys, pretty big players. Jerry and Jeff, the thing that strikes me here, though, with Coleman and with Goosby, how many first-round draft picks now are the Longhorns going to field in 2026 for this football season? Not only do you have Goosby, Coleman, Arch Manning, Colin Simmons, who else? Jelani McDonald, perhaps?
Biles.
There could be more on the way.
Biles, who knows, right? I mean, they have a chance to have 4 for sure, maybe 5. I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, if you look at it, you think there's potentially 3 on offense, and then you get to the defense. Colin Simmons may be the highest drafted of all of them. Who knows how it's all going to work out? Then you get to the other guys, the Rasheem Biles, who I think is a tremendous football player, Jelani McDonald. I mean, so it's building to could it be a handful of guys? We'll see. But they're definitely going to have at least 3, if not 4.
Crazy. Jeff Howe, thank you for joining us as well. A special edition here of On Texas Football. Trevor Goosby. A lot has been made that Texas needs its offensive line to improve in 2026. They're going to have to go to the transfer portal. We knew that for a couple of pieces. But with Trevor Goosby, Brandon Baker also returns, another starter. It's still possible that Connor Robertson returns. Texas has looked to the portal. Dylan Sikorsky from Oregon State has also signed with the Longhorns too. Jeff, now that they have the 2 bookends set, or at least signed and ready to go for next year, doesn't this give you a little bit more, I guess, comfort would be a good word, that Texas is going to be okay on the offensive line in 26? They just got some more pieces to fill.
You can exhale now. Like, this has been hanging out there, and we thought it was going to go this way, but man, with the way things are work now with the portal and the money involved and everything else, and the NFL, where he stands, and I know he went out to LA recently and has been the family's been doing their due diligence. You just don't know until it gets across the finish line, and now that it is, 100%, Bobby. Like, you've got your 2 tackles. We'll see if they get Robertson back, but now now you feel like you've got the pieces on offense to be in the conversation, to be the best offense in the country. I mean, when you look at it, you've got arguably the top quarterback in the country. You got arguably the top left tackle in the country. You've got probably now the top wide receiver room when you combine everything that's in there. And, depending on what you get from Derek Cooper, you may have the top running back room in America. So, like, this has the makings to be the most talented offense Sark has had. And we talked about it, Bobby, historically, like, how does the talent on this offense stack up with other Texas offenses? To me, the thing that puts it over the top is what you've got at quarterback. You've got a guy that could be a number 1 overall pick pulling the trigger. So, to get your left tackle back, it's a heck of a start, because number 1 of how good he is, and number 2, Jerry, we talked about it a lot. Left tackles in the portal, they demand left tackle money, and that was going to be a really expensive hole to fill if you didn't get Goosby back.
Yeah, and I want to 100%. I want to take this to Trevor Goosby in wanting to have a legacy at Texas, because look, he could have gone in the NFL very easily, and if his testing goes really well, the conversations go well, he could have found his way into the first round of this draft. There's no doubt about it. Especially the way his season ended. But I do think this. I think they came to Texas, the family and Trevor, with a full understanding of the process that would get him to where he truly wants to be. And where he truly wants to be is when he goes into the NFL, he's not just a draft pick, but a guy who can go in and compete to start. And that you need to continue to add strength to that frame. But I also think it's a legacy thing. I mean, look, him and his brother are going to be on campus at the same time next year at Texas. Trevor and Austin will have some pretty unique, probably NIL opportunities, Bobby's photo shoots. You know, there's going to be some pretty cool things that they can kind of build a legacy at the University of Texas between Trevor and Austin, because Austin's going to be a hell of a basketball player in the future NBA draft pick at Texas. So I think there's a lot of things that went into it. I also think Trevor feels like there's a little unfinished business on the football field as well. And I think he takes pride in that. And I think he wants to go out at Texas the way he sees it in his clear mind. And yeah, they went out to excel. Him and a family member, they went out to excel just to see what that draft process, all this was going to look like a year from now. But the decision was made before he went out there.
Yeah, it was. And I think that he was leaning that direction for a long period of time. He wanted to be back at Texas. And I agree with you, Jerry. I think that he feels like things have gone well. Kyle Flood has been a good coach. You talk about developing somebody. I remember talking to Mike Gooseby, Trevor's dad, a couple of years ago, right before or right after he had committed to Texas. And I remember him saying that, look, Trevor's just getting started. He's so young. And I think, what did he come to Texas at 275 at some point? Now he's up over around 320. And so it takes time. It's not just the add water instant player, but Texas has developed him, and he's going to stay at Texas for his senior year. I think it's a big win for Texas. Steve Sarkisian, yet another win, actually, on this Sunday afternoon. Really bright and sunny today for the Longhorns. Guys, we mentioned this, and we talk about the power of the offense. Jeff, you mentioned Arch Manning, Cam Coleman. Now we turn our attention a little bit to Ryan Wingo. Don't forget about him. Ryan Wingo has not yet signed his deal for next year. He is. We still believe that that's a very real possibility. We'll watch for that. But there are going to be others this week that may still put their name in the portal. We're going to have to watch for that, because it is a moving target, so to speak, especially when you get guys the caliber of Gooseby to stay, Coleman and Smothers to come into Austin. We'll see what that all means. Guys, y'all have Jeff, you have anything you want to add on Trevor Gooseby returning other than solidifying his spot here at the University of Texas? Very rare that you get a first-team All-SEC player that returns and does not go pro.
This is him coming back is why I wasn't in the camp and haven't been in the camp that, Kyle Flood needs to go, or that, Texas needs to move on with the O-line coach or just blow it up. I mean, you still got guys in this program that can develop. And if if Kyle Flood helps Trevor Gooseby get to his ceiling, he's a first-round pick. He's probably a top 15 pick. So yeah, sometimes, yes, we knew changes needed to happen this offseason, and they have happened, but in some cases, hey, you need to stay the course and see it through. And I like where they're headed on the offensive line. Well, obviously there's still work to do, but this is it's a hell of a thing when you can go into that process, Bobby, knowing you've got your right tackle and your left tackle locked up.
I want to say this. It's big for Texas, obviously, the 26th season. I think this is a really good decision for Trevor Gooseby and his development. This is really big for Arch, though. I mean, to have your backside protector, trust that they've built up over the season, somebody that's been dependable for Arch Manning when his back is turned, to that edge rusher going attacking a left tackle, this is a big deal too. So that if you had to break in a new left tackle next year that Arch is trying to build the trust and familiarity with, that could have been an interesting situation when Ohio State is game 2. But with Trevor Gooseby back, I think this is big for Arch Manning too, guys. I think the developments of Cam Coleman, and we've been reporting Trevor is going to come back, but Cam Coleman, Hollywood Smothers, Raleek Brown, Gooseby announcing he's coming back. These have all been really good things for Arch Manning next year to maximize him. But I think it starts, as crazy as it sounds, with Trevor Gooseby, the left tackle, and returning, and you go from there.
I just, as we talk about Trevor Gooseby from Melissa, Texas, as a I don't want to say lightly recruited, Jerry, because at one time he was thought to be headed to TCU, but certainly not the pedigree of an elite recruit coming out.
Yeah.
To now, you know he was paid and paid well in NIL to return to Texas and forego the NFL draft. We talked about Texas being all in, all off season. We were questioned by that somewhat. I think it's fair over the last week because people didn't understand. But I think today answers that and more, not from us, but from Steve Sarkisian, from Brandon Harris, from the football staff, the folks behind the scenes that work to make NIL possible. I think all in is the appropriate moniker. And I believe that's the case. And we will see where the rest of this goes with the transfer portal, as well as other players Texas is hoping to return. Guys, this is from AJJ. Guys, I don't know how many more times I can say boom today. I don't know. Be ready. we stay on the ready here at On Texas Football. You should too. Jeff Carey, the Texas portal team has been relentless. It really started to pay off in the last 36 hours. There's some truth to that because I didn't even personally mention Rasheem Biles, the linebacker out of Pittsburgh that committed to Texas yesterday, all ACC performer there. Clifton Hines, could this make an OL enter the portal to come here? I don't think so because Trevor was already designated to start. And I think that he had told some friends and teammates close to him that he was likely to return to Texas. So I don't think their decision hinges on his. Jeff or Jerry, y'all have anything to add to that one?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think it did the opposite when the portal opened, right? I mean, so Zalance Hurd from the offensive tackle, left tackle from Tennessee, who's committed to sign with Kentucky. Texas had some conversations with Zalance Hurd, but Zalance Hurd said, I'm only interested in playing left tackle. I've been playing left tackle. I want to continue to work at left tackle for the 27 NFL draft. So knowing Gooseby was coming back behind the scenes or very likely to, I think that actually took some guys out of the equation for Texas that were the people that asked about the Park from the NC State and some other guys. The guys who were already been left tackles wanted to continue to be left tackles, for one, from an NIL perspective, and two, for an NFL draft building perspective. So I think that's just kind of something to know there. Will it help with Texas with any other OL in the portal? I think those guys are all running their own race. A Mikey Bennett is running his own race. Something to think about with a Mikey Bennett from Yale. This is his first NIL recruitment in his last year in college. He's got to maximize it because he has not had one being at Yale the last 4 years. So I just don't – I think they're all running their own race. So it's all a little different.
All right, a couple of thoughts before we get going here. Just congratulations again to Trevor Goosby, his family. He will be known as a lifetime Longhorn. Congrats to him. Other news and notes, Cedric Baxter, running back, former Longhorn running back that went into the transfer portal, has committed to Kentucky. A lot of people had him slated to go to Indiana. Instead, he goes to Kentucky to be with former Texas GA, Will Stein, the new head coach over at Kentucky. He was also at Lake Travis as the offensive coordinator before he went to UTSA with Jeff Traylor. Also of note, Dante Simpson, the big defensive lineman out of the University of Miami that visited Texas a couple of days ago, has committed to Missouri. He did that just a few minutes before we decided to go on air. All right, that's thanks again for joining us. We wanted to congratulate Trevor Goosby, his family, his brother Austin, his other brother Grant, his dad Mike, the Goosby family, a Longhorn family for sure. For Jerry Hamilton, for Jeff Howe, this has been On Texas Football Special Edition. Congrats, Trevor. Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em.